Hey Charlie, it's Grandma and time for story time. Today we're reading Noah and the Monsters. I wrote this for our little cousin Noah. Noah lived in a little village nestled in the snow-capped mountains of Vermont, but there was a big problem lurking in his little village. Monsters! Because of their monster problems, the villagers elected a citizen each decade as the official in charge of monster control. One year it became clear that Noah would become the newest official in charge of monster control. The monster control official was always a most talked about position. This particular election year was no different. One villager was heard saying of Noah, "But he's so small." Another replied, "It is true that he's shorter and lighter than you and me, but he is bigger than anyone I know." The first villager just gave him a funny look, to which the other responded, "When most people see the monsters in their village, their knees wobble, their teeth chatter, and their hair stands on end. But not Noah. Noah walks up to the monster, lifts his eyebrows, and then continues on his way. If he is elected for monster control, he will no doubt rid the village of the troublesome monsters." So it was that on election day, more beans were found in the election box of Noah than in that of his opponents. The first day in monster control was generally spent in meetings. There was the meeting with the new staff, with interns, and with the mayor. During these meetings, there was a lot of handshaking, promise-making, and backslapping, but not much was ever really accomplished. This was not in Noah's plan. Why would anyone want to waste an entire day doing nothing, he asked. Instead, Noah immediately set out to find the monsters. He was gone for weeks. The people in the village worried constantly about him. They had never seen anything like it. Monster control officials simply did not run off into the mountains in search of the monsters. Generally, the monsters came and the officials held meetings about what to do about them. Noah was not your typical official. The villagers didn't know it, but Noah was fighting up the mountain against the beasts. Some days the battles were easier because the monsters were fewer and it did not rain or snow. But other days, icy rain came sideways, pelting his body. More than once he went down on his hands and knees, but it never occurred to him to stay there. The villager had been right. He may have been the smallest person in the village, but he was also the biggest. One spring morning, the villagers heard shouting. They walked out of their homes and businesses and saw Noah, the monster control official, walking through the center of town. His clothes were torn and he was barefoot, but he seemed content. The villagers ran toward him, shouting questions like, "Where were you and what happened?" Noah just kept walking. He went straight to the mayor's office and said, "I'm resigning my post effective immediately. The monsters are gone." A gasp came from the mayor and the villagers who had followed him there. "But how?" they started to ask. Noah had no energy to reply. He just walked out of his office and back home to enjoy the green grass of a lovely spring day. The end. I love you, sweet girl. Mwah.